Hi everybody, this is Jace the Ace coming to you from Pink19. Before I provide you with my update, I just wanted to remind you that this week has been brought to you by Exxon. Our partnership with Exxon has a pretty strict contract. We're actually obligated to say their tagline every time we mention their name, but the contract doesn't mention what it is, and we've called the Netherlands and tried to get a straight answer about what it is, but Finbar and I, we don't speak Dutch, so we're not able to figure it out. What we've decided to do instead, so we don't breach the contract, is we're going to use taglines that are famous from other companies to get you interested in Exxon, and we hope that that generates a little bit of enthusiasm. So on that note, this Pink19 update is brought to you by Exxon. Exxon. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. So the first session that I attended had a really provocative title. It was Move Over, Get Out the Way, all about change management. When I posted a picture of the first slide of this presentation, a lot of you were curious about what the speaker had to say, so I want to fill you in a little bit. Kris Hurley was the presenter, and she took a really innovative approach to change management in her company. Essentially what they did is they moved all of the bureaucracy associated with the process to the back end. Instead of having a lot of checkpoints that you would go through prior to getting approval for a change and implementing it, instead they do all of those checks and all of that paperwork after changes have been implemented. Essentially what they do is they trust release and deployment to make decisions about code changes, testing, deployment. In fact, if they rush into doing something and it fails, that team is held accountable. But change management's job is to go back and audit after the fact, make sure that the right sub-process of change management was followed, that paperwork was filled out accurately. So it's kind of an interesting way of looking at it, that you'd essentially go back, perform the quality checks after the fact, but not be a barrier to it getting implemented in the first place. So I thought that was really interesting. A lot of the questions from the audience were a little bit nuts and bolts related. Who's on your cab? How do we get the auditors to stop, standing in the way of our pre-approvals? It was a lot of inside baseball stuff, but I think the overall concept was really, really interesting, that you could basically have change management resolved to move out of the way and let everyone do their work and only be there as a check after the fact. The second session that I attended was by Andrew Pritchard, who works for Perspectium. He had a really neat presentation all about digital transformation, and he specifically talked about service management as being not a function of the IT team, but a business cultural change that needs to take place, and that really resonated with me. In fact, I did approach Andrew after the talk and asked him if he'd go on camera with me and maybe do a video, so I'm hoping to track him down later today and have him fill in the blanks a little bit on what he talked about. But yeah, he did bring up the topic of verism, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know if we'd have a sighting of it here at Pink19, but we did. He talked about how it would help you integrate all of your practices and technologies and environmental factors, cultural elements, things like that, into your management mesh. And so yeah, that's a message that I think would probably resonate with a lot of people who are having difficulty getting their applications and systems integrated with the third parties that they work with, which is really Perspectium's expertise. The third session that I attended yesterday really just blew me away. I think it's probably the one that will take the cake for this week. It's going to be pretty hard to top. It was presented by a woman named Tierney who works at Corning Incorporated, and it was all about the 5 languages of appreciation. She talked about how each person has different preferences around how they like to be appreciated. She mentioned that some people like gifts, for example, as a token of appreciation. Others like one-on-one quality time. Others may like to have verbal appreciation. But she said you really have to figure out what each individual is looking for and make sure that you target your message in the way that they expect. One interesting statistic she brought up is, usually it's something like 1 in 5 people are interested in receiving a token or a physical gift to express appreciation. For example, in a lot of companies we give people trophies or we give them a plaque, but this really only appeals to a very small subset of the people who work for us. There are others who like things like acts of service or being able to spend time with you to work on a specific challenge that they have. So yeah, it was really interesting. I have to say, as a trainer, I was immensely impressed by how well she presented. Her voice was loud and clear. She sang for us. She acted out her stories. I mean, it was really just incredible. So yeah, I think Corning is pretty lucky to have her on staff. If she ever decided to become a motivational speaker, I think she'd probably rock the house. So yeah, that was really a fun talk and really kind of outside of our usual comfort zone in IT. This morning, Finbar and I attended a presentation that we were really looking forward to. It was presented by Justin Kitchener, who works for the TSO, and it was all about the power of storytelling and trying to help people learn new concepts. And it was specifically relevant to ITIL 4 because TSO has woven this golden thread case study through the new ITIL Foundation manual that has been published. We use the golden thread in our training courses. In fact, as you take a look at each topic, get the formal definitions for them, there will always be a character from Axle Car Rental who provides a little bit of context, tells you exactly how that concept is applied in their own organization so that you can get a real sense of how this is used in a practical way. He talked a lot about chemicals in the brain that are triggered when stories are told and how that can sort of activate your brain cells, get you to focus more on what you're listening to. And then we were also introduced to Margo Leach and Katrina Macdermid, who was the author of The Golden Thread. She talked a little bit about some of the characters and why they made the choices they did to appeal to a global audience. And they talked about how further publications in ITIL 4 will continue to develop this story and take it further. We might see some of the characters promoted, we might see them transferred into other roles, we might even see some of them demoted if mistakes are made. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting twist to this, that we're going to continue to see these characters developed over time and sort of be part of the roller coaster ride that they're on. So we're going to keep coming to you, bringing you a little bit more content today and tomorrow. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Otherwise, you can follow us on any other social media platform that you're interested in, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, we're everywhere. All right, we'll catch you later.